Welcome everybody to another episode of Non-Fungible News. Today, you look at what we got going on here. We got Airworthy, Alios, I'm all jacked up here, and Alex, the team of Airworthy Ukio Warriors. This is amazing to me right now. This is the biggest and baddest interview we've done. So how are you guys all doing today? Hold on, before we get started, if everybody would hit the like, subscribe, get this content out there because this is important. How are you guys all doing today? We'll start with you, Alex. How are you?
Today I'm doing great. It's very fun to be here. I'm new to crypto, so this has been a giant roller coaster and an adventure for me specifically. But I'm happy. This is awesome.
Well, you're definitely not alone. It's a roller coaster for everybody. Every single day we're learning, we're building, we're tripping up, we're figuring out what works, what doesn't work. So you're in good company. Alias, how are you? Good to see you again, my friend.
Yeah, good to see you too, man. Doing well. Very tired. I just woke up, so but it's great.
Yeah,
insomnia.
The crypto never sleeps, and kind of as a byproduct, we never sleep because we're trying to keep up with everything and stay ahead of the game. So, Airworthy.
Yeah. How's it going?
And I'm just living the dream. That's what I love to do: sit down and talk to my people.
Cool. Yeah.
So for anybody watching that may not know, this is the Ukiyo Warriors team. I butcher that name every time. I'm sorry, boys. But this is
amazing that time.
Yeah,
that was like native Japanese just now.
Oh man, maybe I missed
Killing
my
it.
calling. I don't know. You guys are blowing it out of the water. So this is my second time interviewing Airworthy and Alias. And since then, so much has happened. I mean, you guys, I've been here for about 8 months or so, and I've watched, projects grow, and I've watched marketplaces grow. And you guys, your team stands out in my mind as one of the most amazing and biggest growth projects in the space. I've watched everything that you guys have done, and to see where you guys are at now versus Psyche Monsters. Did I butcher that? Or
Yeah, no, that sounded great.
So, I mean, just tell me a little bit about what you guys are feeling with this growth phase that you guys are actually living. And you've went from tiny collection to, I mean, exploded. You're all over Twitter, you're on the marketplaces everywhere.
Yeah, I mean, it's been, first of all, I think a very humbling experience. We've been, just all the work that we've been putting in. I mean, ever since the very first collection that we did, the Airworthy collection that had the cards. I mean, ever since the beginning, we started out with that kind of dipping our toes in the water, seeing what it's like. And at the very beginning, we didn't think too much about having, I guess, this big of a community and having a PFP project like Ukiyo Warriors get to this point. I mean, we didn't really imagine that. We just kind of started out, see what it was like. The reaction that we've gotten from the community, from VFam, I mean, it's all just been incredible. And so we took that, and it was just a big motivation for us. Soon after that, like you said, we did Psyche Monsters. And I would say that I think Alias would probably agree with me that when we started with Psyche Monsters, that's when it was like, okay, we're very, very serious about what we're doing here. We want to be, the biggest, if not one of the biggest projects out there. And, you know, this is what we want to do full time and bring value to the community. And so a lot of work that we put in, you know, we didn't see a lot of results at the very beginning. And there were times where it was like pretty, you know, really stressful. Like, can we make this happen? Can we get to the point where we want to be with our project? But like you said as well, I mean, just recently in the past couple of weeks, it's been amazing. I mean, like you said, with just you know, being tagged in tweets and comments constantly, and new people coming into the project, we're really starting to see, you know, come to life what we envision. And you know, obviously we're not there, you know, we're at the you know, high point, like exactly where we want to be. You know, we're not completely satisfied, but it's been really good to kind of see the signs of like this is happening, and it's starting to come to life.
Well, be proud for sure. You know, doesn't always move as quickly as we'd like, or we don't always get the outcome we like, but definitely you guys should be proud of what you have built and are continue to building. Alex, you're new. I was talking to you a little bit before the show, and everybody's kind of seen you come on in the last couple months, and give us a little bit of your background, your story. You know, what has gotten you to the point that you're at today? I mean, you're living the blockchain dream right now.
Definitely. I like that you call it the blockchain dream. It's felt like a dream to me as well, especially because I'm really new to this. Like I said before, so I guess my background would really start with I'm a student. I'm studying programming, so that kind of fits along with the blockchain lifestyle, right? I know we got a lot of developers here, a lot of awesome developers here on Vechain in the NFT community that I've been able to personally meet. So that's been pretty cool. But I'm just a student who studies programming and a writer. I've been writing for over 12 years, usually fiction, a little bit of science fantasy, a little bit of horror, but a lot of fantasy. And I'm also, ever since I was 6 years old, I've been interested in Japan. So I got an opportunity to live in Japan, to go to Japan with these two, with Alias and Airworthy. And we served there on religious missions for 2 years. So that's where I met them. And when I came back, you know, I kind of had a kind of a whirlwind romance. I got married, had a daughter, and things have been going great. And then out of nowhere, right? And I'm not gonna, maybe it's not nowhere, but maybe it's more like destiny or something. I don't know. Airworthy starts talking to me about NFTs, right? And crypto. And I have no idea what any of that is at that time. You know, I kind of heard a little bit about Bitcoin and things like that. But I didn't really know anything at all about blockchain. So he starts talking to me about that stuff, and I'm like, oh, actually, that sounds kind of cool. I got a VeChain Thor wallet set up. I went and bought my first NFT, which was one of Airworthy's songs as an NFT, and I that was kind of like my first exploration into crypto. Was VeChain, which is awesome. I love VeChain so far. I love the VFam. It's been so that's kind of like, when you say the dream, I feel like I'm living a dream, because like it just kind of happened, you know, like I ended up in crypto like this. I ended up in VeChain, and then I've been able to explore all these things and all these NFT projects and meet some really awesome people through this. So it does feel like I'm living a dream.
Well, right on. This is pretty amazing, you know, that you guys met all on a missions trip and in Japan, and now you're all you know, you're working on a crazy project, an amazing project together. So it's really cool to see. Alias, so you are the man doing the artwork, and holy crap, I have seen, I was never the guy that had art on the wall. Okay. I've never been to an art gallery until I've been to a digital gallery with, vet pets and all that crap up on the wall, on the, like I think World of V has one up, or anyway. I have since kind of more had the eye for art as I've seen different NFTs. I'm always kind of trying to critique and everything. I have seen so much positive interactions on the artwork that you have done. And I've read a little bit about the artwork that you've done and been in some spaces talking, listening to you. And you have put so much incredible detail into the Ukiyo-e Warriors. And you've gotten so much positive feedback. Give us a little spiel, a little alias spiel on what in the world it takes for you to draw one of those.
Yeah, I mean, first of all, yeah, the reaction has been awesome. And as the artist, it's like, oh man, it's so like validating. So it's really awesome to be able to like have this sort of feedback and to be able to start doing this actually for a living, because before I was just working retail, and it's nice to be able to like hop in this full time, do something I actually really enjoy. So it's awesome. I came from a very realistic, like photoreal background, so that was kind of where I had started, and so like detail was kind of a lot of on what's on my mind, and that's something that I've wanted to kind of bring with me into as I've kind of explored these different styles that I've worked on as well. But I work on a lot of that stuff pretty constantly. Since this is like I've made this my full-time job, it's like I'll spend all day on traits a lot of the time. I know that like the armor and stuff, that set took probably like 2 full days of work, and that's kind of what I want to do. That I want to be able to like bring something that's really quality that people can enjoy really seeing. That's I'm from a fine arts background. That's what I really want to do, so people can actually appreciate the art. And so I've hoped that I've brought that to the NFT table with what we're trying to create too as well. But yeah, the reaction has been amazing. I've loved it. It's been very great.
Well, between the three of you guys and the project that you've built, you brought in what, about 3 million vet on minting Ukiyo-e Warriors. So on that project, you guys ended up burning a few hundred of those. There was what, 3777 initially.
Mhm.
And how many of them minted out? About 3,200.
Yeah, so 3,307 is what was kept over that. So yeah, like you said, the original amount, it was planned to be 3,777. So what was that? Do you remember, guys? Alias, I think how many were burned? I think it was 400.
470, something like that.
Yeah, 470, I believe, were burned. And that was a plan that we had from the very beginning, that we would have the minting period last for 1 week. And we like this idea. I've been in a few different NFT projects like outside of Vechain as well, and seeing how people do their minting, and seeing what happens when they just kind of let it go, on and on, without having like a period of a cutoff date and burning, and the different ways to do it. And I believe too that it really depends on the project. I think it can work very well for certain projects that kind of leave the minting going, just keep it going until it mints out. And I think it really depends kind of on the project and what you're doing. But for our project, we felt that it would be very fitting if we did have a cutoff date, to have it burned, and to have ones burned that weren't minted. And I'm actually, you know, very glad that that's the route that we went with. We did do a vote as well. We were kind of thinking about, well, you know, let's leave it up to the community. Should we extend the date? I think it was the day before the burn, you know, that was supposed to take place. We did a community vote. I didn't want to just throw this on them and be like, because we thought about extending it, but I didn't want to just kind of throw that on there and be like, well, guys, even though I said, you know, in the beginning that it was going to be a cutoff year, we're going to extend it. So I left that up to the community, and by far most of the votes were for to keep the date, the burn date 1 week after minting, and I think it's worked out really well for us. You know, I think especially it's shown the past couple of weeks. No, we didn't mint out all the way. We, of course, we would have liked to, but it kept, you know, a smaller amount of warriors, and kind of making it more exclusive that way. And more people are still coming in from the other, you know, things that we have coming in the roadmap and promotions that we're doing, and a lot of exciting things for holders of Ukiyo Warriors. But yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of exciting things for holders. I know that. Before we jump into that, just go, because you guys are in, I mean, 2 of you are in Utah, 1 of you is in New Jersey. So in Alias and Airworthy, you guys don't live like next door to each other, correct? You guys are a couple hours apart.
Yeah, about 2 hours by car. Is that right, Alias?
Like hour and a half. It depends on
Hour and a half,
traffic.
okay.
So
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm north of Salt Lake, so I'm a little bit further northern Utah. He's a little bit more central Utah.
So there's a little bit of a geographic barrier. So what does a day for you guys look like? I mean, a typical day when, you know, maybe you don't have anything overly pressing, you know, you're not trying to get prepared for your mint, but you're just doing your daily work and you know, interactions with the community, building whatever you're building. How does that look for the three of you guys?
Yeah, I think you know, even though we're all on the same team, of course, and there's similar things that we each do, but yeah, you know, for the most part, we each do very, very different things. I'm sure our days look very different. But I mean, I can start. I will say I definitely sleep a lot less since I've been working on the project. I still feel like, you know, I make sure I get enough sleep, but it's a lot less. It's more, there's a lot more responsibility, right? I just feel like there's a lot more responsibility, even more than any other job that I've done. And it's enjoyable. I really love what we're doing here, and this is something we plan to continue, you know, forever. We're not going to stop this. We're going to continue to grow and grow. But I know for me, you know, when I wake up in the morning, I know immediately right off the bat, I've got DMs, I've got messages to, you know, questions about the project, or new people that just have questions about, you know, how to get started and things like that. So I start off with a lot of messages. So I kind of go through that, hop in the Discord. I like to be as active as possible in the Discord. If you're in the Discord of Ukiyo Warriors, then you know that I'm in there constantly every time I can be. And then it's about executing on the promotion, the strategies that we have for promoting and marketing. For example, we have that anime, the Battle of Nanazoku, which is a 60-second anime that is going to be minted this month. Actually, our plan for that is April 30th. But communicating with the anime studio, right? Communicating with them, finding out the status, what else do they need from us, and keeping up on that, as well as other, you know, collaboration projects. So it's a lot of like communicating with other projects and other work that needs to be done for the you know, the releases of our mints and everything like that. And then yeah, communicating with the community as much as possible.
Bailey?
Yeah, it's kind of funny you said that, like when we don't have anything pressing, it feels like we always have something pressing. There's always something going on. I usually wake up to 5 million messages from Airworthy. Yeah, we have like
That's
we have a
true.
group chat. Yeah, I know, right? So we have a group chat, and we're constantly talking to one another, sharing ideas, saying like, "Hey guys, what do you think about this? Oh, this person made a comment on the Discord or something like that." It's like, "Oh, isn't this guy awesome? Here's how the sweeper chat's doing. Here's how the floor is doing. Any ideas for how we can help with it?" And usually we're constantly discussing something. We have pretty regular phone calls as well. So I know from that, as a team standpoint, we're doing that quite a lot. So
I mean,
think all of us.
yeah, I do want to give a big shout out to Alias though. A lot of people in our community know this, like in our Discord, we've talked about it and everything. But he's dealing with like severe insomnia. I hope this is okay to like say this.
Yeah,
Is it okay?
yeah, no,
Yeah, he's been dealing with like legit like really insane insomnia, and it's been a really big struggle for him because of also all the things that he needs to do. His plate is overflowing with what he needs to do artwork wise. But just a huge shout out to him, because even with that, I mean, there's times where he sleeps, I don't know, maybe like an hour, because he couldn't really get any sleep, and then he's right on it with the artwork, and he stays up, he wakes up early to get all of this done for the community. And we have our next collection already coming up with Yokai, and on top of that, there's other set piece NFTs that he needs to get out to people and things like that. So yeah, huge shout out to you, man. Elise, I don't know how you do it. You're like superhuman with what you're doing right now.
I'm trying. Yeah, I got about 3 hours of sleep last night, so that's exciting. But yeah, it is what it is. So I've been dealing with that, but still got responsibilities, trying to keep up with everything. So, but yeah, like I said, I'm usually whatever, I get as much sleep as I can, and then I wake up, and usually I will put in a full day's work into artwork. So typically that can range. I mean, sometimes I try to give myself enough break so I don't like go overburn myself or something out. But usually it's like it can be like 12-hour days, sometimes a lot more depending on the project. With Ukiyo Warriors, when I was doing armor, I'm like, I usually get in a zone where I have to focus, and I just feel like I got to get this done. And so like I was doing like almost 20-hour days for 2 or almost 3 days straight when I was working on the armor for Ukiyo Warriors and different traits like that. So I've gotten a little bit more efficient, so I don't have to spend that long on the same thing. But yeah,
at the same time, you are a perfectionist. So like on the smallest detail, you spend so much like time on it, because I mean, anyone can see this. Like literally look at one of the Ukiyo Warriors and zoom in as like far as you can. Every little detail, I mean, it's crazy with what he puts in there. With the sword, even with the handle, like most people wouldn't think to like really look at that. Zoom in, and it's like you zoom in as like as much as you can to like do the smallest little pixels of artwork, don't you?
So the wrong pixel can really piss me off. So yeah. Yeah, I like to do that. Sometimes I obsess a little bit too much over certain details, but yeah, that's often what it looks like.
Well, it shows, and you're doing an awesome job. And this is one thing that I try to stress, especially when I'm on the Monday Flame Space, is that we got a pretty good community, but I really just want everybody to know what goes into every aspect of this community. From I'm busy as all get out, and I don't even have a damn project. I mean, I'm just reporting the news, trying to interview people, but I've talked to so many people that are in the same boat as you guys. Just, I mean, work, try to keep the community happy, try to give the best product that you can. And so it's one thing that I just want everybody to know is that there is so much going on, and it takes so much to make all this stuff go and run smoothly, you know, mints, art, everything. So anyway, Alex, what does your typical day look like, especially being in college and trying to stay up with all this stuff?
Yeah, so mine is definitely a little different. Um, but when I wake up, usually uh, I will check in on the community. I like to make sure that everyone's doing good there. I spend a little bit of time, probably not as much as everyone else on Twitter. We just retweeting awesome stuff, and but I usually have this routine that I like to call I like to call it the starfish, because on one leg I'm bouncing my daughter while she's like playing with a book, and then with one hand I'm like typing up a school assignment, and then with my other hand like I'm setting up my phone because we're on a team meeting and we're also talking about the next launch. So like I call that move the starfish. I don't know if that's because like I'm just stretched out in all directions with my limbs, but um yeah, a typical day over here looks kind of crazy. I wouldn't recommend it for everyone, but it's been good. There's a lot of blessings that come from just being part of the V fam, because everyone's got your back, and you know it gets crazy in my life, but everyone here has had our back, and it's been awesome. So that's what mine looks like. I'll be doing an assignment, but then I'll also be writing a lore chapter later, and then at some point I got to figure out how to put my daughter to sleep for the night, and then I'm doing a little bit more work, and then I'm going back to sleep myself. So
And that, my friends, validates what I was just saying about everybody working their tails off to make sure that this runs smoothly. You know, that's what you want out of a project. You don't want them to work themselves to the bone like these guys are doing necessarily, but you want somebody that's devoted to the community. And like I said earlier, this is one team that I've seen grow. Probably some of the biggest growth I've seen in the space. So next drop. Let's hear about the next drop.
Okay, so this next one, we're aiming for late May. Well, okay, I guess that's the PFP project. We're talking about the Battle of Nanazoku, which we're planning for April 30th. This is a 60-second animation. It's an anime style. There's actually an anime. So I'm really big into anime. There's one that I would say is one of my very favorite. It's called Samurai Champloo. Classic. I mean, it's a samurai anime. It's also got a lot of hip hop culture in there. The whole soundtrack is produced by hip hop artists, and it's just got a lot of culture, like even around like where the different villages and places they go, and so that really speaks to me a lot because I'm a hip hop artist, and I'm also lived in Japan and speak the language and everything. And so I really wanted that style. And so we found after doing some research, we found an animation studio that looked really good, that has done, a lot of anime. It's almost like they're kind of their forte. And I talked to them about it and sent them some videos from that anime, told them that's kind of the style we wanted to. And they got right on it, sent us some of the character designs that we immediately fell in love with. I feel like they did a really good job at putting it in that Samurai Champloo style. And we've just been communicating with them. They've been giving us updates. Those character designs, those are actually one part of the Battle of Nanazoku project. So we took those animation, the character designs, and we added a background. These are backgrounds that we used with Ukiyo Warriors. And then a lot of them are going to have different elements. And these NFTs right here, these are actually going to be exclusive for our holders. There's not going to be like a minting for those ones. They look really, really cool. I'm in love with like how it came together, but these are for our holders that have 3 Ukiyo warriors or multiples of 3. And they'll be getting random ones from that because we're gonna have different backgrounds, different elements with the ape, the musha, and the samurai. So I'm really excited about that. If anyone wants to get those, you're gonna have to be a holder, you know, holding of 3s. That's one part of it. And then the other part is I'll actually, I don't know if someone else, Alias, do you want to talk about the next part? The actual, you know, anime itself.
So, I mean, Alex is the one that wrote the screenplay. So it's been awesome to be able to like read that part, look through it, prove it, you know, be like, okay, this is dope. And then seeing it kind of come to life. And we just got a really awesome update from the animation studio. It's looking really good. So we're pretty happy about what's going on there. So there's just a few more details that I think they needed to add. But other than that, it's basically done. So it's just ready. It's about ready to come out. He's mentioned it's going to be out on April 30th. Not sure. Is there anything else that we should cover about that?
Yeah, I mean, as far as the minting goes, so there will be a pre-sale. There'll be, you know, for whitelists. Anyone who holds an Ukiyo warrior will be whitelisted. That's the only way that you can be whitelisted for this. So there's going to be a pre-sale period. I mean, we haven't set the exact time of on that day yet, but there'll be a period of about 2 hours where if you're whitelisted, you can mint segments. So that's how the minting will go, by the way. This 60-second anime video will be cut up into 3 segments, so 20 seconds each. And that's what you'll be minting, and it's a blind mint, so you don't know which one you'll get. I mean, you'll probably get a couple of, you know, the same segments, but the goal is to get 3. So there's going to be a lot of trading that I'm suspecting there's going to be a lot of trades going on. So we'll have a specific channel in our Discord for people like, yo, I have 2 of the first 20-second clip. I need the second part of it or the third part. So I'm assuming there'll be other trades. Or if you want to just keep minting until you get the 3 different parts of it, and then probably trade the others that you don't need anymore or whatever with them. But when you get the 3 parts of that 60-second video, you'll be sending that actually to us, where we'll burn those and we'll be sending you the entire 60-second anime video NFT. So there's going to be 300 editions, I guess you could say, 300 editions of each of those segments. So essentially, that equals to a total of 300 of the entire NFT video, and 900 segments. Hopefully that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
But the pre-sale will be 250 vet each for those minting those segments. And then when it goes to public, it'll be 300 vet each. So kind of on the, you know, we didn't want this to be super expensive or anything like that. Wanted to keep it affordable, but a really cool NFT that you can get, especially if you can get all 3 pieces to acquire the entire 60-second anime video. But yeah, as Chase Alias, as Alias was saying, Alex wrote the screenplay for it. And I loved how it came out. I mean, he came up with it like in a day. He came up with it really quick, and I could envision the entire thing as like an anime. Alex, do you maybe want to give a little bit of insight on like how, like what inspired that, how you wrote that battle?
Well, just if you want to delve into like how a writer thinks, there's kind of like always a battle going on up here anyway. Like I'm always thinking about the different stories that I'm writing, and a lot of the time that'll play kind of like a movie up in my head. So when we had the opportunity to really sit down and like plan this out and write this screenplay, I had already been thinking about, okay, well, what kind of battle would these samurai have? And so that was kind of like the movie playing in my head. So what's really cool about that as a writer is being able to see that like come to life, because I was able to write it, but I'm not an animator. I couldn't animate it, right? So when the studio was able to do that, it's really cool because I felt like I had already seen it and now it's real. So that was a really cool thing for me. But yeah, definitely the process for writing it was it's a learning process. Like I don't think it's something that you just happen upon. It's like, oh, let me write a battle scene today, but it's come from a lot of practice. Like that it definitely wasn't my first battle scene. I like to do those. I'd like to do those a lot. And you get to the point where like that starts to become like the thought process. It plays like a movie more than you have to think hard. Like, oh, which way does that sword swing? Instead of thinking like, oh, which way is it swinging? I know which way it's going because I can see it.
That's really interesting. And that'd be really cool to actually see that come to life in front of your eyes when you've seen it up here. You know, that's I guess what comes to my mind is I do a lot of woodworking. Well, I used to when I had spare time, right? And you know, I'd picture it, whatever I'm doing up here, and then when I'd build it, and it would come a lot of times just how I envisioned it. And this is, what you're talking about seems to me on a whole new level. I mean, it's a whole damn movie that you're playing through your head. So, lot of moving parts to what you guys are doing. So that is April 30th. Then we have Yokai, and that is coming in May.
Yeah, yokai is something I'm really excited about because there's a deep supernatural history to Japan and some of their folklore. Yokai is part of that. So in Japan, there's definitely a connection to the things that are spiritual. They believe that the gods inhabit like nature. They control what's happening around you. So, the water that flows, that's because of the god that is in the water that makes it flow, right? So that's part of Japanese culture. And there's also some things that, can't be explained. So there's supernatural things going on too. And that's where these Japanese spirits called yokai come in. Now the yokai, they can be almost anything. Usually it just means it's a supernatural being. So it's not always a monster. It's not always strictly, like a spirit, but it can be. So it could be a ghost, it could be a goblin, it could be a ghoul, it could be almost anything. But I think what we're going to be focusing on in the yokai drop are going to be some of the more classical yokai, some of the more recognizable ones and the more popular ones. We've definitely already dropped a sneak peek of the Oni, probably the most famous and well-known Japanese yokai is the Oni. So kind of excited about that.
I've seen some of those sneak peeks in there. Those are pretty awesome. I'm pretty excited for those to land in my wallet.
Yeah, we definitely went a different style. We definitely went a different it's still like, ukiyo-e style, kind of keeping like traditional Japanese woodblock print style. But we wanted to give a little bit more variety with this project compared to Ukiyo Warriors. So, I mean, Alias, he's killing it with that. I mean, the sneak peek that we have out is an Oni, yeah. And we have a lot more traits that we're going to be showing very soon. Alias, do you want to, maybe expand on that?
Yeah, sure. So yeah, what we've shown off is the Oni so far. The most, I think, recent, most famous depiction of that is just like in Demon Slayer, all of the demons are Oni. And that's like the most generic, most popular form of yokai, just supernatural creatures and stuff. So every Saturday we have a Twitter space that we host, and we call it Samurai Saturday. And we're hoping to release new sneak peeks basically every week of something, and now we're going to be with Battle of Nanazoku finally kind of coming out. It's time to start shifting focus onto yokai. So today we should be releasing a lot more details, and I don't know, as gradually every Saturday we should be having different ones come up. And so this time we, like before, it was just like a very classical pose with the samurai, not quite straight on, a little bit shifted. Now with the yokai, we're doing a little bit of a different perspective where it's kind of a side profile, and a little bit of a darker tone because a lot of these are more monstrous. So right now we have the Oni that's coming out. We are announcing a new character today. I guess we could probably say who it is because this won't come out till after we announce it anyway. So there's it's a Tengu, which is usually the depiction of them is with this like massively long nose. We're doing a little bit different than that because that is an adaptation of originally it being like a bird-like creature, and the beak became like this massive nose. But we're going a little bit more with the original depiction of them, and that's going to be like the bird-like creature, and that's a Tengu. And both of those are probably some of the more famous ones, but we'll be having 4 characters a part of the collection, and those are just the first 2. And we're doing lots of different traits. So far we've kind of shown off, there's like face paints, there's like a scarred body, that's a different trait. There's also
Talk about the nakama.
Nakama. We've kind of hinted at the nakama.
It's my favorite.
Yeah, I like it.
And that's kind of a cool one because we have like our main characters, but nakama is basically, in Japanese, it means like companion or someone like in your in-group, someone, in your party kind of thing. And so the nakama is going to include other like kind of more minor yokai, which are going to accompany the main yokai. So that's going to be a little bit cool and add some more variety in there as well. And any other details that you guys can think of? Because
well, we can talk about more of the like date, all that kind of stuff. So the supply of the ukiyo yokai is going to be 3,444. A lot of people know this, but I'm sure there's a lot that don't. But the number 4 in Japanese culture, and really it's kind of like all of Asia, I would almost say, it is what it kind of seems like. I know like in Korea and China as well, it's a big thing. But the number 4 is a bad number. It's kind of looked at as like an evil number. The reason for that, or at least one of the reasons, is that I know with Japanese, the number 4 is she. That's one of the ways that there's 2 ways that you can say the number 4, but one of the ways is she. And she is also the word for death. So people look at it as like it connected with like death. In Japan, and I know also some other parts of Asia, but it's very common for buildings, business buildings, apartment buildings, whatever, for them to skip the number 4. So it's like there's the first floor, the second floor, third, and then the next one is 5, the 5th floor. And that's, again, with kind of the superstition, the belief that 4.
It's kind of like a curse number, like the number 13.
Yes. Exactly. So it just seemed fitting, to have the supply, to have those 4s in there. 4,000, we felt like that was kind of too many. We still wanted to keep it at a small amount. Right now, we're not, looking into doing any like anything more than, in the 3,000s. So yeah, that's why we decided to put the 4s in there, 3,444. Each one of these will be airdropped to holders of 3 ukiyo warriors. So you'll notice this is a big theme that we have and something that we talk about often, is that for every 3 ukiyo warriors, you'll be getting an airdrop from all future collections. So not just Battle of Nanazoku, it's from yokai, it's from other ones that we have coming up. You'll be getting an airdrop. So that potentially could be around upwards of like 1,000 that will be airdropped. So we'll have to see how many will be minted, you know, when we do the screenshot and all of that. So, you know, around a couple thousand, 2,000 something will be minted. And the price for that will be 800 vet. So it's a little bit cheaper than Ukiyo Warriors. That was 1,000 vet. We're going to go with 800 this time. And again, just because of all the utility that we're bringing and the artwork, all the time and detail the Alias puts in it, we don't want to go too low, you know, nothing under 800 vet, but that'll be the plan. And of course, there'll be whitelist spots given out to our holders and potentially some other collectors in the Vechain space as well. But yeah, those are kind of the details as far as minting goes. And we also do plan to have a lot of connections with like some attributes that were in Ukiyo Warriors. You'll see some similar things in Yokai. And yeah, so stay tuned for what that means, like what you can get as far as like if you have the same pieces from each of the collections.
Awesome.
I may have missed it. I don't know if you covered it or not, but originally the date to release was in May, but we moved it into June, so it should be in early June.
That's right. Yeah. Thanks for correcting me. We did move it to early June just to give us a little bit more time for preparation, and also there's, you know, a few other projects that have been announced in May already. So we're just going to push it to early June. We're looking at like the first week of June, but as we get closer, we'll have an official date with that.
Yeah.
Awesome. So we just got a couple minutes left here, but let's dive in a little bit to the staking. I've heard you talk about we're gonna have some staking coming up. I want the people to hear, because this is becoming more and more of a goal is, you know, hey, what can my NFT do for me? And from your perspective, it would be, what can the NFT that I'm delivering to the community, what more can that bring to them besides the collector aspect? So you guys are taking the bull by the horns here. You are going full throttle into staking. Let's hear about it. What is that going to entail?
Okay. We are so excited about it. Like I think about it like every day. I dream about it. This is awesome because it's just an awesome utility that I feel like a big way to give back to the community. People have been so awesome, so supportive in our project, and this is something, you know, we're not directly as you know, the team members, we're not directly getting you know, any vet or anything out of it necessarily. It's more of us just giving to the community. Of course, I believe that indirectly, I think we are getting a lot as a project, because and as a team really, but like overall, you know, we're looking at this as a long-term project, like I've been saying, and there's going to be a lot of things in the beginning where it's setting up to give back to a lot of the collectors, and then later on, you know, I think it'll come back and we'll have more funds to do more things for the project. So we haven't given out too many details, and the reason for this is because I am actually working with the developers with World of V on a couple of little things that I want to see if we're able to do it. You know, it's a little bit more unique with a lot of staking, I think. So we're kind of waiting to see, it's being worked on before I announce anything official with how it's gonna, you know, how it's gonna work exactly, like what you do, the process for staking. But it is going to be May 25th. And when I announce how it's going to work and everything, that's when I also plan to announce how much the rewards will be. But I've been telling people on Twitter Spaces and in Discord that it will be worth your while. We didn't want, you know, because if there's just not too much that you're getting out of staking your NFTs, you know, they're kind of locked away for a period of time, then there's no real point to do it, right? So we wanted to have an amount in there that people would really feel like they're being rewarded by staking and holding their NFTs. their Ukiyo warriors. So that's going to be announced a little bit later of how much is in the pool and what the rewards look like for how many Ukiyo warriors you stake.
There's there's a few like core concepts that we want to like center our project around. One being like quality. That's definitely something, but like also rewarding our holders and stuff. We don't want paper hands, and we need a way to incentivize diamond hands and stuff. And so we're really excited about staking, right? Yeah, we're really excited about staking because it's a very direct way to directly compensate people who are diamond holding our NFTs, and we're very excited. We really do want to compensate people well and have them excited about it. So we're wish we could give more details right now, but like he said, working with the team right now, and hopefully we can come up with something. They're able to do what we want, and we're able to do something really nice for our holders. So very, very excited about that.
Well, I know I'm excited. I know the whole community is excited. So you guys are doing a phenomenal job, and just keep at it. That's all we got time for today, but I do appreciate it. And we will be doing this for a third time. We will follow up. I will make damn sure that we do that. But and I know you guys have a space to get to here shortly, so I think time zones,
Yep. In less than an hour, we have Samurai Saturday, where we will be talking more about what's to come. Like Elias said, we do this every Saturday, and we try to make it as exciting as possible. So we have usually a sneak peek, some sneak peeks, updates, all of the goods. So yeah, come on.
Typically where we make our big announcements too, like
Right.
staking and stuff like that. So
Yeah,
we try to save a lot of our biggest news for that day and just make that a good time for everybody.
my favorite day of the week. I always get so excited when it comes to Saturday now.
Samurai
Awesome.
Saturday.
All right, fellas. Well, I appreciate your time, and you guys enjoy the rest of your day, and we look forward to seeing everything coming out.
Thank you so much. We really appreciate the time to be able to come here, and we're absolutely down for the next one as well. So we will keep in touch about that.
Awesome.
Great.
Talk to you guys later.
Okay.
Thanks for everything you do. Appreciate
Yeah,
it.
man.
You have a good day.
Thank you.